Hello and welcome to Cricket and Wrestling for Us. And today I've got, as always, Aman with me to discuss what's happened in wrestling since the last video we did. So basically, AEW Rampage, Super SmackDown, which isn't so super now. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite, which is on Saturday night, and then Monday Night Raw, which is always horrendous. Well, no, there were good 3 weeks, but then after that, it's once again not the best show on the block. First off, Aman, how you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Yeah, man. Just enjoying the cricket, enjoying the wrestling, and literally realizing the fact that AEW is so much better than WWE. Even like not like particular shows, but just the environment, the type of creativity they're coming out with. I'm enjoying AEW a lot more than WWE right now. Apart from the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar stuff, because that stuff is gold, right? And the probably the triple threat between Bianca, Becky, and Sasha. But like in general, I think WWE is struggling comparatively, and we're going to talk about that right now. AEW Rampage and SmackDown were on Friday. They were on at the same time for about half an hour stint, and Rampage kind of smashed SmackDown, didn't it? By like what was it? Quite a few thousands of ratings, numbers, and all that stuff. Can't remember the numbers. Don't really care about the numbers. All I care about is the fact that people actually tuned in to AEW instead of watching the biggest WWE show of weekly television, which is WWE SmackDown. And they had what did WWE had? They had Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. That entire dynamic, that contract signing. Then they had the match between was it Bianca and Becky Lynch? I think it was right.
Becky and
And
Sasha.
Sasha. Yeah, thanks. So that didn't pull as many people as what was it? CM Punk, obviously, on the Ruby Soho match and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just want to ask you, what was your thoughts first off of the fact that they went super size and went with a super SmackDown? And do you think this result was something you expected, where Rampage kind of overdrew? Um, no puns intended, by the way, but overdrew SmackDown, right? AEW Rampage overdrew SmackDown in that particular half-hour stint. Did you think that was a possibility before it actually happened?
No, I didn't think that they would do as well as they did.
Mm,
Um, I think in a few press interviews prior to the clash over the weekend, Tony Khan said that he on purpose chose that 10 o'clock slot, which it airs in America, so he didn't trample on SmackDown.
mhm.
And now Vince on purpose decided to do an extra half an hour just to fight against essentially Stoke Tony Khan. And I thought, well, it's an extra half an hour. He's bringing Brock back. He's got Sasha. He's got Becky, Roman, Seth, Edge, big hitters, and Rampage has got Punk and Seidel and Ruby Soho and the Bunny, which is no disrespect to Punk or any other stars involved, but in comparison, the two shows didn't really weigh up.
Yeah.
But apparently, if you read the internet and if you believe what's written on the internet, in that half an hour slot where they had the Brock segment and they had the Becky Sasha match and they had the Punk Seidel and the Ruby Soho match. Rampage did about roughly about 80 to 90,000 more viewers than the Brock Bailey Sasha Bailey sorry, not Bailey, Bianca, sorry, not even Bianca, the Becky Sasha match, which is really surprising. Actually, I didn't think that they would pull off
Mhm.
that uh, win, and I think sometimes people forget that AEW has only been like in existence for just over 2 years and is beating SmackDown and the WWE, which has been around for years and years, and he's beating them. I mean, the perception already is that thrashed NXT and forced them to move to Tuesdays, and
Mm.
now this whole revamp and NXT 2.0 has come as a result of it, and um, the perception is that Vince is not happy, and he's going to take the fight to Tony Khan, but Tony Khan is as much a billionaire as Vince is a billionaire. So he has just as much resources to fight Vince as Vince had to fight Ted Turner back in the WCW days.
Mhm.
But it's it was very surprising to me that they actually won.
Yeah.
Um, but in terms of a story progression, I thought SmackDown did better than Rampage. But yeah, it was very surprising to see that they won in that half an hour slot, which I just think shows two things: a, how fresh and energizing and new that AEW product is, and how deflated and demoralized that 18 to 49 demographic is with the WWE product. That even if you've got Bianca, you've got Brock Lesnar, you've got Roman Reigns, you've got Paul Heyman, you've got uh, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Seth, Dean, all these other people, and then you've just got on um, Rampage, you've only who have got some sort of name value is CM Punk and Ruby Soho in comparison to the other people on SmackDown. Matt Sydal and the Bunny are not, you wouldn't think would be draws, but it was very surprising. But let's just hope this prods the stick up Vince's backside, and he starts making some major changes.
Yeah. Thing is, SmackDown, as you said, SmackDown's always a good show. It's just the fact that people do prefer AEW because of the freshness. 100%. I completely agree with that. In terms of a genuine show, I think I was pleasantly surprised seeing, was it Zelina Vega moving on to the Queen's Crown
Yeah,
side of things. I didn't expect that, but I was happy about Mr. Prince to be king, right? Mr. Finn Balor winning and moving along across for the final of the King of the Ring. So, what are your thoughts about both of these contenders? And spoiler alert, we're going to talk about Raw really quickly now as well. Xavier Woods is going to be the opponent of Finn Balor at Crown Jewel for this King of the Ring title. And surprisingly, Zelina Vega is going to face Dewdrop. What? I was like Shayna Baszler all the way, but it was just the weirdest finish. It's like she put the lock on that she like her signature lock,
yeah, yeah.
clutch, right? And then Dewdrop just rolled over, pinned 1, 2, 3, and won the match easily. I was like, this is just outrageous. Shayna Baszler should definitely get that, right? She needs that for her arsenal, but nope, didn't get Money in the Bank. Loses like crazy all the time, right? She had this really good stint for like a few weeks where she came out and beat people up, and now she just lost to Dewdrop, and now she's not nowhere near that scene anymore once again, which is really disappointing. So just wanted to mention those. What are your thoughts about the people now contesting for the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown?
Um, I'm not surprised about the Finn stuff progressing from SmackDown, and like we discussed a few weeks ago, it just seems like a natural progression that from a storyline perspective that you would go, well, he's been called the Prince for so many years, he's now the King. Um, and the Xavier Woods thing I didn't really surprise me either. He does have quite an internet following on Twitter. There's quite a hashtag going for him to win that match.
Yeah,
And I think you can go either way with it. You can have the feel good moment where you have Xavier has become the King of the Ring, and then you can say that all three members of that New Day faction have achieved single success. So you've got Big E and Kofi as former WWE champions, multiple time tag team champions. Now you can say Xavier is a former King of the Ring winner, for multiple time tag team champion. Or you could have Finn move on from being the prince and to the king. And I was thinking about this the other day that maybe, like we discussed, they could revamp his presentation on Raw as the heel king,
yeah,
whereas he's like come at me, but you best not miss your chance. And he's just a pure wrestling machine, like a Walter Pete Dunne type character. So you can go either way with that match. So you've got multiple possibilities. Um, the the Queen's Crown or whatever it's called, those matches have been going less than 5 minutes. They have been doing Goldberg level matches in terms of time. So I don't know what is even the point. Like, it doesn't add any prestige to this tournament that the matches that you're leading up to the final are going for like 1-2 minutes. It just seems like they're like, yeah, we need to do something with the women. Yeah, let's throw them in a tournament. Yeah, nobody really cares. Give them 2-3 minutes and that's it. But I thought it would have been the perfect thing for Shayna to rebuild her.
Yeah.
She was called the Queen of Spades in NXT. Call her the Queen now.
Such simple stories, Aman. This is the thing. Simple as anything. They could have had Kofi versus Xavier Woods in this week's match, right? And then Xavier beats Kofi. It would have been great. They could have had Shayna Baszler moving on. And then it's just, it doesn't make sense. A lot of things.
I don't understand. I honestly don't understand. And I think the only reason I could think of is Vince doesn't see the personality in her, or he doesn't see the big deal in her. She is a legit MMA shoot wrestler. She could destroy that women's roster within seconds if it was like a legit shoot wrestling match. She's just because I think she does not have the notoriety and the name brand of like a Ronda Rousey, that Vince just be like, well, I don't really see the big deal. And whoever come up with this new name for Piper Niven, Doudrop, what does that even mean?
It means you've gone to the toilet, Aman.
And probably a writer has probably sat in the toilet and he's doing his business and let's rebrand her and call her Doudrop.
It's one of the most. It's okay. What's worse, Piper Niven being called Doudrop, or Karrion Kross being absolutely obliterated as a character, as a wrestler on the main roster? What's worse? For me personally, Karrion Kross's atrocious fall from championship, right?
Yeah.
Gold. Like, he was amazing. They take away his wife or fiance, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then they rebrand him with a mask. And now I've heard just today that they're going to rebrand. They're going to rebrand him as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
But I think it just goes back to, without getting on a tangent here, it just goes back to what we've discussed in previous episodes. Vince didn't watch the old NXT. He didn't care that this is how Triple H and Shawn presented these stars who are already ready-made from the indie scene and from other promotions, and just built on that. Yeah. He just felt, no, it's my bat, it's my ball. I'm going to present them how I want to present them, how I think that they're going to make me money. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the whole mystique, the whole drawback of the entrance, Scarlett's not there. He's not presented as a killer anymore. He'd lost his first match to Jeff Hardy. It just, like that, all credibility, momentum gone.
Yeah, agreed. It's horrible. Anyways, on a positive note, let's talk about AEW Dynamite, which again wasn't as good as usual weeks, but it's probably the fact that, it wasn't on a Wednesday. It was a slightly different slotted time and everything. We talked about the American Top Team versus Inner Circle. I'm not too excited about it last week. I'm pretty excited about it now after that 6-man tag or whatever it was. I was like, this is interesting. Like, it's UFC versus wrestling, like the MMA versus pro wrestling. That's what's happening. And it was a lot of fun. That match I was very, very happy about. I was actually very, very surprised to see Lucha Brothers lose their AAA championship to, what is it? The Revival. Sorry, FTR. FTR, or whatever they called themselves after the masks on, right? It was like crazy. Like, I didn't expect that, but to be honest, if they have shenanigans, right, and they win, kind of makes sense. They're a heel. That the way they won it makes sense in the storyline side
Mm.
of things. So I was quite happy with that kind of progression. And then obviously MJF is an absolutely terrible human being. Like he's a probably a great person in real life, but his character is a terrible human being. All right, and I'm so glad Sting is around to kind of just put him
Mm.
down just a little bit, a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna have Sting versus MJF. I know they're aiming for Darby Allin versus MJF
Yeah,
eventually,
yeah,
but I'm so glad Sting is around because Sting is just so iconic. If you get what I mean, see what I did
yeah.
there, see what, right? Yeah, right. And it's great that AEW has that bench of wrestlers coming in and out. And again, Bryan Danielson had this match against this guy on Rampage. I forgot his name.
Uh,
Suzuki,
that's it,
Minoru
Minoru
Suzuki.
Suzuki. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, so that match was just brilliant. Um, the uh, the um, the MJF stuff. I just think that he's. I wouldn't be surprised if that is him when the cameras are not rolling. Like he is so good at being a heel and
Yeah.
just getting on people's nerves.
Hmm.
But they threw people like different avenues for him. Like you saw, um, he pushed Wardlow into Sting's bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been slow burn teasing some dissension between Wardlow and MJF. Then they showed in the backstage that that Andrade paid him off, paid MJF to use to use FTR. So that could be a potential feud. And then there's Darby and MJF, which is I think the money match that they're going
Hmm.
for.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought that was brilliant. Um, the I'm just trying to think. What was the other point that you mentioned?
It was the American Top Team versus.
That's it. I was good.
That's it.
I have a differing opinion to you.
Mhm.
Not that enthused, really. I don't really see where this is going. I think um, the only good parts of it is Dan Lambert. He is drawing so much heat you can hardly hear what he's saying
Mhm.
on in his promos.
Yeah.
Um, And if for me, I would use top team to get Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky over. That is it.
Hmm.
Um, they're very green, even though I think I've read and listened to somewhere that this Junior Dos Santos does have some wrestling experience. He's wrestled in Mexico a few times. But the rest of them are very green. And just think it doesn't look smooth and slick and polished. It just looks very sloppy in terms of the MMA fighters, but obviously because I've never wrestled before.
Mm.
Um, so I don't really know what are you trying to achieve with that story. So my opinion is different to yours. I understand that okay, you want to get outside mainstream press, and you're getting a lot of that because of these names from another sport.
Hmm.
But what is it doing for you and your story? The only reason I think I would allow that to happen is get Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky over, and then that's it.
Yeah. I think that
But
I think I agree with you with regards to getting them over, but I personally enjoyed that match personally. But fair enough. I know we're gonna disagree on certain points anyway. And one of the big things I just want to add in as well. I don't know if it was this week or was it last week where they announced the TBS championship in at
last week,
AEW as well. Last week, I think that's a great shout. Definitely, the women's second tier in AEW definitely deserves another title because I don't see Britt Baker losing her title anytime soon, right? It's going to be a long shot if she does. So yeah, I think that's a good decision personally. This is a solo edition. I just wanted to tag along NXT 2.0 onto here. Not the best of shows we've come to expect, for me at least. I've been really enjoying NXT 2.0. Like I said many times, it's my guilty pleasure. But this week was just a bit dim, just a bit low on expectation because I know Halloween Havoc is coming up soon and they're probably just building to it, but they started their build and they don't know where to go. And it was once again Champa and Breaker together in a tag team match. And yeah, it's I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, but it's a very WWE kind of way to go about it. So let's see where it goes moving forward. But yeah, I wasn't too impressed with that. However, I did really enjoy the aspect of Tony D'Angelo coming to the ring, winning his match, cutting a short promo, and then his attitude. It's refreshing for the brand, 100%. And I really want to mention Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling coming back, and I love the dynamic between Johnny Gargano and Dexter Loomis, because that the way and all that stuff kind of happened now, and Dexter Loomis is now married to Indy Hartwell, and their dynamic looked pretty all right, to be honest. Yes, the new North American champion and everything was a bit too cocky, and it turns out Johnny Gargano coming out and kind of just challenging him, almost got beat up. Then Dexter Loomis came. It was a good setup, and I'm very excited for how they're gonna make it progress forward, because it's been quite some time since I've seen Johnny Gargano with a championship, and to be honest, I don't think he's getting it. I don't think he's getting the championship whatsoever. But it'll be a good feud. If it's a tag team match, fair enough. But then there will be some sort of feud for the title that the Breakout Star just recently got. So an interesting dynamic. And obviously, we got to mention about the women's side. And again, it looks like they have no storyline to go with, right? They know what they want at Halloween Havoc, but they don't understand what needs to happen in the middle. And it was not as entertaining as I would have personally liked, and not the best NXT 2.0 I've seen since the rebrand. It was honestly quite boring, and I don't use that word too openly too often. But yeah, it was a shocker for me. And let's see how NXT 2.0 moves moving forward, and how the pay-per-view goes, because I was excited about Halloween Havoc, but they just haven't had the right build. And I know Crown Jewel is happening now, and hopefully that goes quite well from a WWE standpoint. Good matches and all that stuff, because they've got a stacked card. I'm excited about it, but again, AEW Dynamite was not this Wednesday. It's going to happen on Saturday. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and we're back to the original video. Last point, I just want to ask you, man, two things I want to ask you. First thing is, I ask you every week, all right? What was your moment of the week so far in terms of, the shows that we've discussed? And then I'm going to ask you who your wrestler of the week, even though the week technically has started. But you know what I mean. Right? Of the past few games. Yeah, of the past few games.
Moment of the week. I think two things, if I'm allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
The Suzuki Bryan Danielson match I thought was just brilliant, absolutely unbelievable, and you could see that they were so stiff shots, and I kept thinking, should he really be hitting him that hard? He has got a history of concussion issues.
Yeah.
But I just thought that they were brilliant. That match was absolutely brilliant. And then we say this every week, but the Roman Brock stuff. Like when Roman was saying to him, "Are you an idiot? You just signed that contract without looking at it." And Brock just went, "Oh, well, yeah, I looked at it this morning, with my advocate, Paul Heyman," and Paul's face just went like that. And Roman's face, and Roman, when he turned his head, like slowly towards Paul, and Paul was just like,
it's that storyline is so funny, right? And I've been waiting for funny Brock for a few years, since he did the thing with the Money in the Bank, right? Since then, I've been waiting for this, and yeah, he's doing a great job. For me personally, I think it's this latter as well. It was great. What a moment, as always, as every week. And wrestler of the week for yourself?
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
I think he had two incredibly tough, pure mat-based wrestling matches with Suzuki and Bobby Fish, back to back. So I thought, for me, he was the wrestler of the week this week.
Yeah, agree with you once again. I love it when we agree, especially on camera. Off camera, I don't agree with, but on camera, when we agree, it makes things a lot easier. So thank you, man. Thank you as always. For everyone watching, please like, share, and subscribe if you like the content. Please do check out our other videos, earlier videos, and we're going to do a review of Crown Jewel later this week, probably on Friday as well. So please do keep an eye out for that. Thank you once again, and until next time, take care, stay safe. I'll catch you in the next one.
Okay, guys, thank you.